hijacked and raped, and with strength they pull through to, go through it. We're going to go to Crux.
For the past 2 weeks, Crux has been taking a look at how Christianity was adopted by the people of each of the 11 official languages. We've looked at Sesotho and Afrikaans, and tonight we're looking at Xhosa. Botani mawetu, siyanamkula kwi Crux, igamalam ndingutsalani tambo. Rape and hijacking are so common in South Africa that most of us hardly flinch at the number of horrific reports of violent crime peppering our newspapers and TV screens on a daily basis. Tonight on Crux, we speak to survivors who have been subjected to the most brutal and hideous crimes, but have picked up the pieces of their lives with God's help. Crime is the #1 problem afflicting our country, yet haven't we all said, won't happen to me? It did happen to the people we'll meet today, but in their horrifying stories is also a ray of hope and forgiveness.
Somebody grabbed me, yanking me away from the call box.
These men were going to rape me. And when I realized that, I asked the Lord to help me to forgive them.
They then started kicking me and they stood on my head and they fired another 5 shots.
Hijacking is one of the most common crimes in South Africa today. A red robot no longer signals stop. It might also signal the beginning of an ordeal in which you may be robbed or attacked or even killed for your car. Earlier this year, Sipho was stopped at a shopping center in Germiston, oblivious to what awaited him.
It was in the evening. I stopped by a shopping center just as it was about to close. And along the way, I also used a call box. And somebody grabbed me from behind, pulling my collar, yanking me away from the call box. And they made me lie down near the call box, which was right by the shopping center. And as I say, this is in a residential area on a busy road. Well, the hijacker that had reached the vehicle eventually unlocked it. And in my case, I follow, as I have said before, Jesus Christ, the Bible teachings, and I did feel protected. My relationship definitely is further strengthened because I know that I am protected.
Not all survivors come off as well as Sipho did. Some hijackings spell life-changing injuries for the victim. On the 7th of August, 1998, Herman Pienaar came to a crossroad in his life when he stopped at a red robot where a few unwelcome passengers jumped onto his bakkie.
On my way home that night, I stopped by Van Buren, offering by the robot to wait for the robot to change. And 3 black guys jumped onto the back of the bakkie. One guy actually pushed a revolver through the window on my head and forced me to drive. We had crossed the highway again. There's a veld on the left-hand side. When we got on into that veld, they asked me to stop. When the one guy on the left in the back jumped off, he just fired a shot. It went into my arm here, and that shot paralyzed me straight away. They pulled me up into the veld, where they then started kicking me, and they stood on my head and actually took my tackies and my jacket off, and they fired another 5 shots. They actually went back to the bakkie. I could hear them taking stuff out of the bakkie and throwing stuff around there. Then they left. And I was quite worried, you know you're going to die at that time. So I started praying real hard like I'd never prayed in my life. And I said, "Phew, I'm still young. I don't want to die. I still want to see my son grow up." When I came by, the police were there.
The doctors gave him a 20% chance of surviving. The only thing the doctor did tell me was that night that I went to hospital to see how he was doing. He told me that, well, from this stage, your husband will be paralyzed from the chest downwards.